And now the news in details. Schools in Edo State are to resume academic activities for the third term calendar on Monday, May 10th, 2021. The resumption was communicated in a statement signed by the Permanent Secretary, Edo State Ministry of Education, Stella Marisi Maswen, on Friday. The statement therefore directed all schools in Oredo, Ego, and Ikubauka local government areas that were operating morning and afternoon sessions to revert to the normal time of 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Schools heads and proprietors have equally been directed to ensure compliance with the COVID-19 protocols, while all frontline workers and teachers are to be compulsorily vaccinated against the virus. Edo State government is set to refurbish Ogida Police Training School, Benin City, to provide training support for police and other security men and women in the state. Governor Godwin Obaseki disclosed this on Thursday after inspecting the state of the facility located at Ogida Quarters, Benin City. Chinedu Ekeja has more.
Ogida Police Training School in Benin City is one of the 28 police training facilities across the country through which the Nigeria Police Training Department carries out its training functions. But like many of these institutions, they've been rendered almost useless due to several years of neglect and abandonment due to inability of the federal government to fund its maintenance. But as the conversation continues to tilt towards localizing security, Edo State government has found in Ogida Training School a good option to enhance the competence and capacities of not just the men of the Nigeria Police Force in Edo State, but others from the state-owned security architecture.
We are fortunate that we already have a facility in the states to train policemen. We've been in touch with police headquarters and have agreed that the state government will intervene in upgrading and improving the training facilities here so that it will be made available not only training policemen but other members of the security architecture which we are redesigning. So we will have a permanent training facility for up to 5 or 6 squads at a time that will be given training, introductory training in security, intermediate and advanced training at different levels.
But this dream cannot be achieved with the facility being in the state of disrepair.
That's why we have come in to do an evaluation, an assessment ourselves. The clinic, for instance, needs to be rehabilitated and re-equipped. The hostels need to be rebuilt and equipped for decent habitation. The classrooms need to be rebuilt, and the training grounds with the obstacles also need to be upgraded and repaired. The state government are very concerned about the state of the security system, but we can't leave it to the federal government alone. Security is everybody's concern. We have decided to put our money where our mouth is and use what we have to try and solve our problem.
The Commissioner of Police in Edo State, Philip Obadu, considers this intervention as a relief and timely.
As a police force, we are happy that some of these facilities are going to be upgraded. It will be easier for us to carry out refresher courses and trainings here, and also for other security outfits that will come and benefit from it. It is an added advantage.
Founded in the 70s, the Ogida Police Training School is one of the only 2 in the South Nigeria after the one in Calabar, Cross River State. Chinedu Ekeja, KUFM News.
The Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics has vowed to continue its indefinite strike until the federal government meets its demands. ASUP had on April 6th embarked on a nationwide strike. The ASUP National President, Anderson Ezibi, made the union's position known on Friday at an emergency congress held at the Federal Polytechnic, Auchi, in Edo State. Among the demands of the union are implementation of the ASUP Federal Government Agreement of 2010 and payment of salaries and arrears of the new minimum wage in some state-owned polytechnics. Others are implementation of the Needs Assessment Report of 2014 and reconstitution of governing councils of polytechnics. Elsewhere, the federal government has begun profiling some well-placed Nigerians suspected of being financiers of terrorism in the country. Briefing journalists on Friday in Abuja, the Ministry of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, said the arrest of the suspects followed the recent convictions of some Nigerians on terrorism financing in the United Arab Emirates, UAE. He said investigations conducted have established reasonable evidence of the involvement of some highly placed individuals, businessmen, and institutions across the country in financing the activities of Boko Haram terrorists. Although Malami declined to disclose names of the terrorist financiers nor the number of those found culpable, he simply stated that a large number of persons were involved, adding that he is not at liberty to disclose further as investigations which have been reached an advanced stage and profiling continue. The federal government says it has released 29.1 billion naira to the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency (NPHCDA) for deployment of COVID-19 vaccines. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning Zainab Ahmed disclosed this at the Collaborative Africa Budget Reform Initiative General Assembly webinar on Friday. Ahmed said the federal government will procure 29.588 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine through the AVAT initiative coordinated by Afreximbank. Considering key elements of Nigeria's vaccine financing strategy, Ahmed said that the government is working on a supplementary budget to provide for the cost of vaccine procurement and delivery. She noted the nation has received commitments from COVAX for COVID-19 vaccines that could cover 43.1 million of the eligible population as donations from some development partners. And now talking judiciary matters, where the Supreme Court on Friday affirmed the powers of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to deregister underperforming political parties in the country. Consequently, the Apex Court, in a unanimous decision of a 5-man panel of justices, dismissed as lacking in merit and appealed the National Unity Party (NUP) filed to challenge its deregistration by INEC. The Apex Court panel, which delivered the judgment in a virtual proceeding that was led by Justice Mary Odili, said it found no reason to set aside the concurrent findings of the Federal High Court and the Court of Appeal, which had earlier upheld INEC's decision to deregister some political parties. The NUP, which was dissatisfied with INEC's decision, subsequently lost its bid to be relisted as a political party by both High Court and Court of Appeal. It's therefore dismissed NUP's appeal and ordered parties in the matter to bear their litigation costs. 2 suspects have been arrested by the police over their alleged involvement in impersonation during the 2011 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME) registration. The suspect, identified as a 50-year-old Sheson Obasa and his alleged accomplice, Salvation Tehembe, were arrested and paraded before journalists at the headquarters of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAMB) in Wari, Abuja. According to a statement issued on Friday by JAMB spokesman Fabian Benjamin, Terembe was picked up by the staff of JAMB at one of the board's registration center in Wari following his unsuccessful attempts to carry out the UTME registration on behalf of Obasa. The 36-year-old had appeared before a JAMB registration official on Thursday and could have successfully scaled the first accreditation when the picture on the National Identification Number, NIN, showed he was impersonating Obasa. Tembe, who admitted to carrying out the act, said he was contacted by Obasa to supply his information for registration at the JAMB center because he was busy with work, adding, however, that he was only assisting him and not aware that his actions breached any rule of JAMB. In defending his action, the 50-year-old suspect, who had appealed to study public administration, said he was misled by his determination to go to school, which moved him with the desperation to put in for JAMB this year. Journalist International Forum for Migration, GIFROM, is calling on the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Person, NAPTIP, to come to the rescue of a 20-year-old Nigerian who has been trapped in a prostitution camp in Ghana by an agent who facilitated her travel. The lady, trafficked since March 2020, had raised an alarm, pleading that she was tired of prostitution and endless demands from her slave madam, up to the tune of over 1 million naira, out of which she had been forced to remit 3,000 naira only. The GIFROM president, Ajibola Abayomi, in a Save Our Soul message to Nigerian Embassy in Ghana and other relevant authorities, had disclosed the full identity and contact of the victim, who has expressed desire to return home and be reunited with her family, provided she is guaranteed of protection from any harm. He lamented that the story of the lady calls for passionate and urgent attention, especially from NAPTIP, in order to help restore both her mental and psychological conditions. During an interview with GIFROM, the victim had claimed that the said amount being forced on her was never mentioned as part of the job negotiation deal by the madam until she arrived at her destination in Ghana. The victim's auntie, Sarah Amanabo, also narrated that the victim, who was desirous of greener pastures abroad, was lured to Ghana by a friend who took her to the agents that promised her a befitting job in return. She said she has been sending all money to her madam, but the lady insisted she wasn't working hard enough to pay back her investment and interest, thereby denying her freedom to return and threatening to kill her if she attempts to leave. Aisha Jumail Al-Hassan, popularly called Mama Taraba, is dead. The former Minister of Women Affairs during President Muhammadu Buhari's first tenure died of an undisclosed ailment in Egyptia Hospital in Cairo on Friday at the age of 61. Al-Hassan resigned as the Minister of Women Affairs on July 27, 2018 to contest the governorship election in Taraba State. 14 passengers, including 3 children, were burned to death in multiple accidents at the Kara Long Bridge in Ogun State stretch of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The accident, said to have occurred around 10:20 p.m. on Thursday, involved a Toyota RAV4 car marked LND 13GS, Toyota Camry marked GGE 369GJ, and a nondescript Mazda bus. It was learned that the commercial bus while trying to overtake ran into the Toyota RAV4 parked in the middle of the road due to fault, somersaulted several times before it exploded into flames and thick smoke, killing a number of the passengers. The Public Relations Officer of Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Corps, Trace Babatunde Akimbiyi, who confirmed the accident on Friday, said 14 persons died. The image maker said operatives of the traffic agency and other security agencies on ground rescued 2 to Lagos State Accident and Emergency Center and 1 to the General Hospital in Bagada. Coming up in a moment in our entertainment news, Techno features Mafiki Zulu on Enjoy Remix. Details in a moment. And now on entertainment news, where Afropop singer, songwriter and producer Techno has dropped the remix of his hit single Enjoy featuring South Africa duo Mafiki Zulu. A video of the song was shot in Ikeja, Lagos by Nigerian cinematographer Clarence Peters and styled by Udrak Betiku. It demonstrates beauty and fashion while leaning into that spirit of celebration. This release follows his recent album Old Romance, which includes the original Enjoy track. And finally, on entertainment, Nigerian artist Seyi Shay enlists fellow Afrobeat songstress Yemi Alade on a new Bob dubbed Pimpe. Pimpe roughly translates from Nigerian street slang as hot lady, and befittingly, the two caused a heat wave on the record, with Seyi Shay leading with a catchy hook and infectious verse. Yemi Alade's verse expands on the theme of the song, highlighting the struggles that come with being a hot lady, from unending attention to everything else in between. In 2019, Seyi Shay enlisted American R&B artist Teyana Taylor on the remix of her pop smash Gimme Love, which had Nigerian singer Runtown on the initial version. Produced by Kel P, Pimpe is the first single from Seyi Shay's upcoming EP slated for 2021 release. And that's it on entertainment. And now in sports, where UEFA sanctions 9 Super League clubs over breakaway. Details in a moment. And now talking sports, the Union of European Football Association, UEFA, on Friday announced sanctions, including financial punishment against 9 of the 12 clubs behind the aborted Super League project after the clubs apologized and acknowledged a mistake. The governing body of European football said that in a spirit of reconciliation, the 9 clubs had agreed to a club commitments declaration and accepted a 5% cut in their European revenue for one season. UEFA said the 3 holdouts, Barcelona, Real Madrid and Juventus, will be promptly referred to disciplinary bodies. And that's it on Sport News. And that's the news, but before we go, let's take a quick recap of the headlines. On the news this morning, we told you that Edo State government is set to rehabilitate Ogida Police Training School, and federal government begins profiling of Nigerians linked to terrorism financing. And finally, on News Dawn, Supreme Court has affirmed INEC's power to deregister political parties. Please do remember that the continued unity of Nigeria is a collective responsibility. Be sure to play your part And do not forget, you can listen to us anywhere in the world, either by visiting our website at www.kufm.net, or you can download our KU mobile app from the Google Play Store. Remember, you could also listen to us online on radioguardian.com. For visual purposes, join us live on YouTube at KUFM Nigeria. KUFM's News Dawn was produced by Nosahai Owadiai, and I am God's Love Orlando, saying thanks for listening and good morning.
Favorite songs
on the radio.
Yes, all the music.
This is really cool music.
Come on. Drop the beat. Here we go.
92.7.
Your boy Bonda. Yeah. Confuse me. Tell me why you they confuse me, oh baby. Your body too attractive, and the way I fall for you, it be like magic. Oh no.